What are some of the things that really aggravate me about the therapy process? Typically, how the therapy process works is the first session is rapport building. And by the way, this is not how I do it, but I want you to understand how most therapists do this, because you'll get more out of my approach and understanding my methods if you understand how it's typically done. But typically, how this stuff is done is the first session is rapport building. And that's where the husband comes in and tells a little bit about himself. The wife tells a little bit about herself. The therapist tells a little bit about themselves. And they get comfortable for this journey they're about to embark on. It's this flowery kind of mess that's a waste of time. That's the first session. The next 5 sessions, at least, will be the therapist encouraging the couple to have arguments they've already had. Tell your husband how you feel about blah, 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 blah. Well, tell your wife how you feel about blah, 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 blah. And the therapist is sitting back over there taking all kind of notes. And you're kind of left wondering, what are they writing down over there? And you walk out of this session mad as hell, wishing you came in separate cars or glad that you did. But you come back week after week because you're hoping that therapist, he or she, is going to eventually teach you something that more or less shows you how to get back to the baseline. But after about that 6th session, the therapist's like, man, I don't know about this couple. And now you're more discouraged than when you walked in. And everybody reenacts these arguments because how else is the therapist, he or she, going to be able to help us unless they understand how we communicate or how we don't communicate? And like I said, by the end, it's a very discouraging, frustrating kind of process. So one of the things I try to do is I try to skip those first 6 sessions. And what I try to do is, because I'm not a big history person, I kind of look at there's 3 sides to every story. There's his side, her side, and somewhere in the middle is the truth. And I don't need a couple to recreate an argument. I'm married. I know what an argument looks like. What I know they're looking for is how to get back to that baseline, how to increase their sense of connection to where they feel one again. And so everything I'm doing those first handful of sessions is I'm teaching the couple how to get up there as quickly as possible. But like I said in an earlier episode, but in such a way that's not just going to be a Band-Aid. See, most therapists, they approach couples therapy the same way they do individual therapy, and it doesn't work because they believe what I'm about to say. And what I'm about to say sounds right, but I don't agree with it. You won't even really hear what I'm saying is wrong, even though I'm telling you I'm about to slide one past you, because it does sound right. Most therapists believe that first off, we have to identify your issues. Then we have to talk about them, because communication is the key. Communication is important, but it's not necessarily the key. If it were the key, you and your spouse probably would have fixed things by now. And here's why. It has to do with where the couple is in relation to the baseline. When a couple is all down in here, they're too emotionally raw. There's certain subjects that come up for that couple that as soon as they come up, the conversation lasts about that long before one of you's hurt, mad, or aggravated. And so now you're going to go to therapy and you're going to pay somebody for 40 to 45 minutes to sit there and bring up those issues, bring up those issues, bring up those issues. I mean, I don't care how tough you are. That's too much to ask anybody really to endure. And so what I'm trying to do during that time period is that's where I am asking them to leave their issues alone for the time being. Just call it truth, and continue just to keep going through the motions and, taking care of your children, going to work, and being civil to each other, and leave the hot topics alone for now. And let me just teach them the skills. And in that process, I'm teaching skills that's actually helping them come back together to where it's going to be easier for them to talk. So those are just some of my frustrations about how this process typically works and how I strive to be different. Thank you for tuning in this episode, and now I'm about to start jumping into more of the techniques, things that can help you and your partner move forward a lot faster. So once again, appreciate it. And if you hadn't already subscribed to this channel, do so now, and look for other media channels that I'm on, such as Facebook and YouTube, and my podcast channel. So thank you very much.